Do you like groovy podcasts hosted by inebriated people? That's Kai with the cracking voice and Heather's touched by evil. One thinks he's Spider-Man, the other is a ninja. It's the Man I Love Fun podcast, it's the MILFcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to another MILFcast mini. We're going to try this one more freaking time. Apparently we've had some problems. Heather, first of all, this is my co-host Heather. Like I've not already said that. Yeah, we've had some technical difficulties. Let's see if this worked. Can anyone hear Heather? Say words, Heather. If not, they're just listening to me drink, which is one of my fears, which would come up tonight. No. Great. That's hilarious. I love all this. This is embarrassing too because we have 300 people on the stream. Heather said we're so amazing and fucking shit. We need to start doing Braille, I think. Braille? No, we need to hand signals. Yeah, you know what I mean. Signing. So Heather, what have you changed since our last podcast? Yes, no one can hear you. Zach Ellis, I appreciate it. This hasn't happened to us before. We've been spot on the entire time. Jesus Christ. Let's try this. Heather, okay. Let's try talking one more time. Can anyone hear Heather now? Say something.
Boobs, 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 boobs.
Boobs. Heather's
boobs.
Favorite thing to say.
Boobs.
Everyone in the chat, can you help us out? Can you hear Heather now? Boobs! Please tell me you heard her say boobs.
It's possible he...
Okay,
yes,
we're on.
But
Jesus.
did he... But middle-aged old man, did you hear me say boobs?
Oh, that's your husband. Did he hear it from downstairs?
Twitch?
Can we get someone outside of the house to confirm whether or not they heard boobs from Heather?
Hi, Doxy.
Doxy Mama.
She follows us on Instagram and on Facebook.
They hear you, for fuck's sake. Okay, you guys, we've done this all of 3 times, and OBS is trying to fuck with us. It literally like erased all our settings, and I put in desktop audio.
Boobs.
It was supposed to be, the Yeti audio. We've screwed this up entirely already, and I hate everything about it. But now we have time, so let's do it. So. You guys, I'm Kai, this is Heather, and like I was saying prior, and you guys couldn't hear her, so you put a bunch of stuff out to social media this week and got a ton of responses, so you wanted to follow up on what everyone said.
Yes, because everyone was super excited about this one, which I was kind of surprised by. I thought there was going to be a bit more conflict about it, and that's why I put these 2 opposing creatures against each other. In the MILFcast death match, it was Khal Drogo versus the Hound, which... They both have incredibly different fighting styles. They're both really big, strong dudes, so they'd be equally matched as far as strength is concerned.
Did you do versus the Hound? I swear you put him against Viggo Mortensen in Lord of the Rings.
No, that was on the Fuck, Marry, Kill, and that was.
But that's only 2 people. You can't FMK
that was
with
the
2 people.
One. Yeah, Geralt of Rivia was the 3rd choice.
Unless necrophilia is involved, because then you could K then F.
I like necrophilia in some instances, I guess.
So who did people choose?
So it was overwhelmingly in the direction of the Hound, and I just like to read what some people said because I was kind of surprised. It was the way I felt too, but it was kind of neat. So Stephanie Schmeffany said, "This is a good one. I feel the Hound would win, but it would be very close with Drogo putting up one hell of a fight," which is exactly that. I think he'd get a boo-boo and die. And then Laya said, "I feel like Khal Drogo would be overconfident and that would be his downfall."
Oh, that's Lieso. Sorry, that's Lieso. I actually know that.
Lieso. Thank you. Lieso. I apologize. I'm an idiot. Also, the whole armor versus no armor thing, the Hound wins. Tapeworm said the Hound, but that one was super tough. And Martin said the Hound 100%. We also had this shared in a Facebook group, and it was overwhelmingly in favor of the Hound and on our Facebook page. So not one person thought Drogo would win that fight.
This feels like season 1-itis.
What is season 1-itis?
Well, he didn't last beyond season 1, and the Hound had like a full story arc. I kind of had this thing when you posted the whole thing.
Sure.
I thought you were doing a deathmatch with Vigo, and my opinion was, well, Vigo survived to the end, and Drago didn't. So there you go.
Nope, that wasn't it. But that's okay that you don't understand things that I do or say. It happens.
I can't
sometimes.
use Twitch or read social media. Clearly, I've proven that tonight.
I don't think it was Twitch. I think that there was just some obnoxious tech thing that does not want to behave, which happens quite often.
Oh, hey, they can hear you. Good to know. Did we have another one?
Woohoo! Yes. Oh, I wanted to bring this one up. Hold on. I closed it out when things started going wonky, so I have to go back to it again. But this one was kind of funny, and I didn't expect too much of an actual response to it. But hold on, bring it up right now. This one was another death match. And because I'm also extremely tech savvy and don't work with social media for a living at all, I posted 2 death matches yesterday by accident. This one was Ralph Macchio versus William Zabka as themselves in their current existence.
Literally the Karate Kid, the final battle from Karate Kid.
Yes, and I
so
just
you put
got
no
through
thought
the whole...
into this entire thing. You're just like,
no, because I want them to fight in their real life as
they
actors.
have in a movie and several TV shows.
In Cobra Kai, yes, but they have it in real life. Who do you think would win if the 2 actual actors fought each other? Yeah, that's what this is about.
Machio looks soft. I think Zabka's
yeah. Everybody went for Billy Zabka, and I did too, which I thought was pretty sweet. So I was definitely for that. Which I do really like him on the show.
How far off is Zabka from his actual Cobra Kai character in real life?
I feel like they're pretty close.
Like, I feel like he drinks Miller Lite. I feel like, or High Life. I feel like that's right.
Definitely. And that's like the other thing too is, I mean, he's one of those guys that got branded as the asshole guy. He played the jerky boyfriend in, what was that movie? The one where the girl pretends to be a guy.
Yeah. Just one of the guys.
Just one of the guys. I love that movie.
The one where the girl just pretends to be one of the guys. Just one of the guys.
And in the end, she even shows her tatas. Boobs, guys. Everyone boobs.
Yeah.
Boobs. Bringing boobs back again. So he was the asshole boyfriend in that movie too. And
he's the asshole boyfriend in European Vacation.
Everything.
The funny thing is, I think he went off and did like a bunch of directing, and nobody knows. It's like Fred Savage. You know, Fred Savage has been directing shit for like 20 years.
I've seen that he has, but I didn't realize that was his main vocation now. That's pretty sweet.
That dude has some big old tickle bitties. Okay. So what was the other one you put out today?
Those were the only ones I put out today. And
you
those
put
were the
both
ones
of those that you said you put out 2 today. Those were the 2 you put out today?
Those were the 2 I put out today, yeah. And I was only supposed to put out 1 because we have a couple things going on there right now. And if everybody keeps interacting in them, which they are for the most part, then I'll keep sharing what everybody has to say.
And you're correct.
On here.
Fred
Tapeworm. Yeah, go ahead.
Fred Savage did direct a ton of Always Sunny episodes. He's actually working on they're doing a new a revival of the show that he was on, The Wonder Years.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's kind of weird.
They had some big was it I think Don Cheadle is going to play the voiceover that Daniel Stern played.
Really?
Set in the same timeline.
I love Don Cheadle so much though. He's so wonderful.
All right, well that was cool.
I made a chapter out of my book that was inspired by his character in Ocean's 11.
Nobody writes a book chapter inspired by Don Cheadle's character in Ocean's 11 because he's like ocean number. All right, let's rate Don Cheadle. Let's rate Don Cheadle on a scale of 1 to 11 amongst the 11s. So he's behind Pitt, Clooney. Is Roberts one of them? I feel like she is.
She counts, I think.
Okay.
I think
behind
she does.
Damon. You say no one, but she just did. Ha ha ha. You guys, where does Don Cheadle, you guys in the chat, where does Don Cheadle rank 1 to 11 in the Ocean's 11 hierarchy? I put him above the Mormon twins, above Scott Conn, above Casey Affleck. And this is not of my love of Don Cheadle. I just say
who's the old guy? I can't think.
Elliot Gould.
Yeah, Elliot Gould too. I love him. I love them all. And no, perhaps he's not number 1, but I love his character and he brings me joy when he's there. And I love Don Cheadle.
But my point is, you went through like 8 Ocean's 11 characters to find inspiration for a chapter in a book.
It was a line he said in the movie. It wasn't so much his character per se.
What was it?
I named the character Beth Bedlam and Broken.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it actually works. It isn't about what happens in Ocean 11, but
Number
the name,
one.
the title does makes it worse.
It's not Don Cheeto, Little Donut Ice. It's Don Hot Bean Burrito.
I'm kind of in agreement there behind Clooney, Pitt, and Damon.
Really? Number 4. So we're putting him above Tapeworm. You're putting him above Aaron Brockovich.
Definitely.
I put him as a mid-range Oceans. He's a mid-range Oceans.
He brings me joy, like I said.
Yeah.
And partially it is because he does have quite good comic relief. He always makes me chuckle.
I have to do that thing.
You know what I said about tonight's show? I said it'll bring us a chuckle. It'll warm our hearts.
Well, let's get into tonight's show. So we picked a topic for tonight's show. I'm gonna try this. I don't know if it's gonna work. Let's try this real quick.
Today's general discussion topic.
That's an oldie but a goodie. All right, so we've been doing these minis. We wanted to have like a little topic to talk about. By the way, first of all, I want to say hi to Doxy Mama. Doxy Mama I've known since high school, and she's like, it's one of those things where you're like surprised when people say, "Oh my god, I listen to your show all the time." She literally listens to our show all the time, and she even told us the other day she has gone back and started to re-listen to shows because she misses us. So I hope she likes all the new stuff we're putting out. But
oh, hooray!
Thank you for coming.
And thank you.
Yeah.
So much.
Anyway, so last week we did pet peeves. So I wanted to tack one on to last week. I had one that popped into my mind, and it's a throwback. It's a throwback to childhood, which is appropriate when we're talking about Doxy Mama there. So, pet peeve. Your neighbor who lives in a split family goes to his stepdad's or his dad's home for Christmas, gets a Nintendo or a Sega, right? And he's like, "Oh, dude, when I get back, we're going to play Sega or Nintendo. We're going to kill Sonic or Mario." And then he comes.
You don't kill Sonic or Mario.
No, we're going to kill it. All we're going to do, 48 hours of straight playing. You're going to come over. We're going to get Cheetos, Funyuns, Diet Coke. That's all we're going to do.
No, you're going to plumb and you're going to run. You're going to plumb and you're going to run.
Yes. Well, they're going to run. We're not going to get the of it. Anyway, so here's the thing. So he's had a Nintendo or a Sega for 3 days because of Christmas. And then he comes home. And I haven't played yet because my parents can't afford one yet. Middle class, but not upper class. Whatever. Took a couple months. So he's like, "Let's play." So you do that shit where you get in and like, of course you have to fucking be Luigi, so he's gonna be Mario. So he jumps on and he goes through like 14 levels because he's been playing it for 3 days nonstop. And then you jump in and you die at the first mushroom because he's like, "Let's take turns," right? You die after like 10 seconds of playing, and then he's like, "All right, my turn," and then he plays for like 45 minutes, and then I get you know what I'm talking about? Did you have this situation? That annoys me. Let me get a couple games under my belt. Let me get up to speed. Let me get to the end of level fucking 1 before we're switching remotes off.
There's like a total happy medium of that too. And I've actually had that experience with my own dragons. I've played video games with them and I get on after, they're basically amazing at it. And I try and play and I suck at first. And I'm not a natural gamer. It takes me a little while. My learning curve is a bit slower than others. So I have to die a lot in order to get good at first.
Everyone does.
If you kill me, and if you kill me every time I come back to life, then I can't learn to play the game. So it's either that they let me do that. Yes, we are old and slow. If they let me do that and live, then yay. But the other thing that they do that also pisses me off is then they won't kill me. And it's basically like a pity life. Like, "Oh, don't kill Mama. She's too bad at this game." I'm like, well, I need something here.
Yeah, try me.
There's got to be a happy medium in that. But that's a total bummer. Total bummer. Totally get it.
All right, so let's get into today. So last week we talked about pet peeves, or a few days ago we talked about pet peeves. It took me a year to get mediocre at Warzone. This reminds me, I'm reading the chat real quick. This reminds me of the time I brought my Xbox 360 home from my biological dad, and Kai played Dead Rising on it for 2 weeks straight. Yeah, and then I'm like, let's switch off, because at that point I have the upper hand, and I'm taking what I've learned and using it against you. So we went from pet peeves last week. This week we're going to talk about fears and anxieties. Not a morbid conversation at all.
It can go really dark.
So it could.
Also funny.
So
dark and funny.
Let's start with you. What is one of yours?
Okay, so one of mine actually came up today, and it's something that I struggle with, and I don't know why. I have a really hard time making phone calls. I have a hard time answering the phone. I have tremendous anxiety every time, even if it's one of my dragons. I see their name and go, oh, what could this possibly be? Could this be a text? Would it be, should I wait and let that go to voicemail? Because I can wait for them to text it. And usually Brosnan too, it's just, he'll just call me for a funny joke that takes 20 seconds and it's usually worth it. But
is it because it's 2020 and no one calls anymore? So like when somebody does call you, just assume it's drama?
I think, no, it's always been this way, but I think I know what kind of made it worse was my college job was working at Blockbuster, which
is a whole other episode.
Yeah, that's a whole
Coming
entire
soon.
series. Yeah. It's just, we could make a movie about it. But one of my main jobs there was calling and harassing people morning and at night for their late movies. And you wouldn't believe how many people actually would pick up and answer their phone. And I was like, 18, 19 years old and just read me a new asshole or give me the weirdest, most stupid excuses ever for why they hadn't returned their movies or that they had. And then they'd show up later and be like, very somberly, here's the video, but I didn't rewind it. So suck it, bitch. I mean,
really? They scorned you and talked to you in like a European voice? Like,
doesn't like everybody in like southeastern Michigan? Duh.
It's be kind rewind, not the other way around.
Oh, it's fuck off.
That's the 80s equivalent to the non-mask wearers. They're like, fuck you, here's your tape, but I didn't rewind it. That's like wearing your mask below your nose. Or
when you work in a video store that rents out adult films, you can imagine what they do to things.
Did Blockbuster run out of adult films?
No, it did not.
Okay.
It did not. But I worked at Family Video afterwards, and they did.
Oh, you downsized. You went from Blockbuster to Clerks.
It was way better. And but yeah, there was a guy who used to return. He'd rent 5 nudie movies every single night, and then he'd return them.
Really?
A little sad the next day. Yeah,
that guy
5
wanted
nudie
like
movies every night.
A buffet of VHS porn?
Yep, and it was VHS porn. Like his favorite was G-strings and bobby socks. I know.
How many different movies are there? If he's getting 5 a night, like how many of those exist?
There were so many. At the time, too, Snoop Dogg's porn was out, and it was very, very popular. It was like 2000, 2001.
That could be any
You should
year.
watch. You should watch that. It was pretty funny. He's just sitting there smoking weed, and girls are doing things. But anyway, like you have no idea the anxiety that I would have when I would sit down in my office and get ready to make these calls. Or while I was at the front desk waiting on customers at the same time while I'm calling other customers, go, can you please bring our movie back? Listen here, you little bitch. I'm like, I'm okay with conflict, but this is a little difficult.
The funny thing is like the difference between like a non-rewound full-length movie and a non-rewound porn movie is like one's at the end and one is somewhere intermittently in the middle.
This is interesting porn information too. I would say that for the most part, they came back not rewound and half watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we know when it ended.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want to put it in. Oh, there were so many times too. There was one time where we got someone's home movie.
Instead?
Yeah, they made their own movie and they sent theirs in. It was totally on purpose. It was a very big chocolate man and a very tiny translucent girl in their garage.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. They sent it to us at Blockbuster that did not have adult films.
What's the corporate policy on that at Blockbuster?
We just called them back and said,
John wants it, so he gets it.
"Oh, you put one of your home films in here instead of how to."
The funny thing is, how
days.
desperate were they over the late fees that they were willing to put their homemade pornos into that case to not have to pay the fee on like Back to the Future 3.
What we think happened was they did it on purpose, thinking that we'd watch it and that they would get noticed, or they were just
Yeah, like we can't get an agent in porn, but let's try the Blockbuster and see what they can do for us.
Yeah,
because
either way,
they're tied to the movie studios. These high school kids that work there.
Yeah, and there was a crew of about 10 of us, and every single one of us, even the more prudish people, watched it. At least came in and peeked at it. I watched the whole thing. They actually had some really great lighting in there for garage. I was impressed. But did they get a
This is
discount
the
on
second
future
week in
movies
a
for
row that you
providing new
made this
content?
weird. And now it's by commenting on like the studio effects and how fantastic the set design was.
Hey, I'm trying to be positive and find good things and stuff.
What year is this?
Oh, it had to been like 99 or 2000.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they came back in KOK. I really don't, but we were big fans.
Did they
I think
get
we
a
put
did they get a discount on future movies for providing new content? Our chat would like to know.
It was a unique experience.
Did it end up in
really
the
was.
staff's picks?
Oh my
The
gosh.
staff picks section?
I would have loved that. Actually, all of us were for that. Maybe, I'm surprised. We used to party afterwards quite a bit, and I can't believe we didn't take it home and put it on the TV while we had a party one night, because that's something any of the people may have done. It was a good time.
That was just fucking weird me out. I lived in a it's not it's not a small town, but it's not a huge town either, and I feel like I would have known somebody who'd known somebody that knew that person, and it would have gotten awkward.
I think that's what they were looking for. I think they were voyeurs. I think they wanted to have people see them do their fancy work.
Then go do it.
It looks painful. I don't think it looked fancy.
All right. Speaking of painful, let me give you one of my fears. I am terrified of heights. I'm going to bring this back around. So the only fear I could really think of that I really actually have is heights, because it's to the point where it's like crippling. So like, Heather, we talked about coming out when you got married, and I literally was like, we're going to take a train to Michigan from California.
Well, that's a long trip.
Because I can't handle heights at all. And it's gotten worse as I got older. So I haven't flown since I was...
Is that the deal with flying? I thought you were afraid of flying.
Because of the heights.
Okay.
It's up in the air. When I get in a plane, I imagine my feet, like 2 feet of steel and 20,000 feet. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that at all. And it's gotten worse. And like now it's like I can't even go on roller coasters where like the roller coaster would be fun. But like when it gets to its peak, like I can't stand being that high above the ground. I just can't.
Okay. Well, that's actually a relatively common one. I thought you were going to come out with you hated flying, which by the way, that's a fear of mine. I will fly, but I'm so terrified of it. But for me, it's not about the heights or anything like that. I just don't like not being in control of my destiny. Also, I don't think that we should be up there. It seems wrong.
It does, right?
It doesn't.
How does
seem
that
like we
thing
should
fly?
be.
Jesus wouldn't allow that.
Yeah, like every time I take off, and by the way, guys, this is just little Kai, Heather, and Mrs. K and the family trivia. But the first time I ever flew was almost 10 years ago now, and it was to go see Kai and Shirley in California. Yes. That was my first plane trip ever, and I went by myself, and I was terrified, and it was totally worth it.
And it must be like close to the anniversary, because we went to the Oscars, I want to say like the day before the Oscars happened, and we got to like walk on the red carpet, and it's some bullshit because they put like saran wrap on it because they don't want our bullshit common people feet on it.
Yeah, but I still thought it was really cool. I was such
really
a tourist, and I love that you guys took me on a totally touristy trip too, so I could see so much, because I loved it.
We had to. We're very boring. Like when we leave the state, like honestly, I swear to God, our favorite thing is to go to like Target and Ross and see how they differ from the Target and Ross in our state. Like, how do they lay shit out in Arizona? We need to check this out. Do they have things that we don't have? And they do, by the way. It's really weird.
They have different things in different Targets, like 5 minutes from ours here. Target does what it wants to.
Yeah, but another state, it's like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Well,
also,
we kind of actually
like stores
will do that
you don't know
too,
the names of. Like, I went to Disneyland, they have, like, out here we have Fry's Electronics. I went to Arizona, they have Fry's grocery stores. And I'm like, do they put chips in the food? Like, what's going on? I have to go, like, check this out. And I went in, it was, like, amazing. They sold, like, patio furniture, and there was, like, a sushi bar with, like, a sushi chef in the fucking grocery store.
Oh, we have those here.
Well, what the fuck? I live in the most populated state. We supposedly have a ton of money. I don't live in the ghetto. Like, what's going on? Like, why
I
don't
live in
have
the ghetto,
these things?
and we do sushi in the grocery store. I mean, does it really sound that great? Does grocery store sushi sound magical?
It does compared to mine when a guy's cooking it fresh, because all we have are these little like packs of 6 California rolls that look like they've been there for like 6 days.
Oh, that's scary. Okay. Well, I know that you're longing for grocery store sushi, but I will tell you, it is not horrible, but it is also not good. We actually have a Chinese place that delivers sushi to us, and it's pretty damn good for the price.
You don't go to Chinese you go to Japanese for
Japanese. I know. I make jokes about it all the time. I'm waiting for a middle-aged old man to
By the way,
say something about my Chinese restaurant.
Lovely in the chat can confirm one of the Targets had an escalator for shopping carts. It was so dope. We went to a 3-story Target. Okay, I don't have those here.
I've been to one of those once. There was when I went to Chicago, there was a 3-story one there, and I was like, this is freaking exciting.
Oh, so you went to another city and checked out the Target, is what you're telling me?
That wasn't my fault. I was there for the weekend staying with friends to run the Chicago Marathon, and I did what they did. I went to rugby matches. They drove me all over the city, just like you did, which I thought was cool, which is actually what we do when people come here, too. We took Fredo all over Detroit. And yeah, I guess one of the places we went was Target. I don't remember why. I think my friend Amanda needed something.
Oh, Amanda always needs something.
Amanda does need stuff. She's a very busy, very important woman, and she has to go to Target.
Okay, so what's another one of your fears? And by the way, you guys, please put your fears in the chat, because it might spark some of ours.
Yes, please.
So we don't put a lot of thought in this. We need help.
Okay, so this one is, I don't want to tell anybody because I feel like everyone will abuse it. I'm much better about it now, but I'm terrified of worms.
Why?
Like, terrified. There again, I understand when it started. The neighborhood I grew up in was a swamp before, and they built homes on it. But actually, even where we live now is not too far from there, and that's why we have such humid summers rather than most areas around here, is because of what used to be swamp area. So it was also when it rained. I'm taking a really long time to get to a simple story, Kai. Is it driving you nuts yet?
No, I'm used to it. My wife does it all the time.
So anyway, what would happen is there would be a ton of worms that would come up if it rained a ton. And it wasn't that big of a deal most of the time, but I was in kindergarten. And when I was in kindergarten, my mom used to dress me up in these pretty little frou-frou dresses. I had tights. I wore patent leather shoes. I had a little frilly thing under my skirts. I had hair things that matched. And I had an umbrella and a rain jacket. And I had on my patent leather shoes. And I walked out the door and had to walk to the bus stop by myself. And the entire street was just covered in worms. And I mean worms that were like this fucking long.
Like in the middle of Magnolia when the frogs fall out of the sky. And,
yes, it was like that. And I assure you,
not a few worms, guys.
Memory,
we're talking legit spaghetti on the ground.
Like there was like nowhere that I could walk where I wasn't almost stepping on one, and I was panicking the whole way. I think that's possibly my first realized panic attack that I ever had as well. I was hyperventilating, jumping between one and another. And then by the time I actually made it to the bus stop, I was in tears. So since then,
What was the fear though? Like that they were all going to get up and like eat your feet?
No, I just didn't want to step on them and squish. And I didn't want them to touch me either because I was wearing my skirt and I had the tights on. I felt really exposed.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, even now when I run. It's
odd too that like I feel like that's a sexual perversion for some people, or not perversion, but a proclivity that they like that
feeling
sort of stepping on. I've seen that before where they step on bugs and it's like a turn on for them, that crunchy sound.
Oh yeah,
which I don't understand.
Well, I think they take advantage of that too in Temple of Doom when she's in the cave with all the insects. You hear all that crunching.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay, because that is fucking creepy. I don't like bugs, but I'm not freaked out by bugs either. That scene is one of the creepiest scenes in the movies. Period.
In this room that I've created behind me, I literally have some those kind of like cube stack shelves that people can buy at Target and shit, near my door, and I set it up, and unfortunately because of the space limitations I had to put it in front of the light switch, so when you come out here you have to like reach in the little cubby to turn on the light switch. And I told my wife I want to do like a Temple of Doom situation with like fake bugs. You have to reach through the goo and the bugs to turn on the light switch.
That would be so freaking sweet.
Yeah, I want to live
Which,
that
by
shit.
the way, I'd like everyone to point out, speaking of like creepy stuff, I love this new art that Kai made for the mini cast. If you guys look at us right here with our brains and then blood.
Thank you.
It's-
Thank you for pointing it out in the chat too. I appreciate it.
I love it. Okay, this is one of the things that I kind of like about your art is sometimes it's always like bright and fun and it grabs your attention. But this is my mix of bright and fun and also total and complete utter darkness.
Yes.
It is so
I
fucking
like it.
sweet.
It's
I love
eye-popping
it.
art. It's more the style I'm trying to go to. I haven't perfected it. By the way, I suck at drawing brains, but I love drawing them, so I'm trying to get better. This is horrible. I actually had to cram this all in today, and it kind of bummed me out that it didn't turn out perfect, but I'm actually happy with it.
I really like it.
Yeah.
So I think it's wonderful, and I love the pencil and the nunchucks through the ears. It's delightful.
Let's go to the chat here.
We have some pretty interesting fears here.
Yeah.
Tapeworm says people talking to me.
Yeah, that's for
Which-
sure, especially in COVID.
Yes.
'Cause-
Well, in general
like,
too,
step back.
people have anxiety with that anyway too, where they don't want to be spoken to. I think he's being funny, but it's still. K.O. Cray said poisonous snakes. That's totally fair and reasonable, especially if you live somewhere where they hang out.
He also
I think
stated McDonald's in different countries gets crazy, which Pulp Fiction has proven.
I like my inevitable impending doom. That's exactly my kind
Doxy
of
Mama said
feeling.
spiders and flying bugs. So this is actually one of Mrs. Kiterman's too. So Mrs. Kiterman of all things is terrified of moths, and and I'm not even talking like
Ellie's afraid of moths too.
Silence
Like used
of
to
the
be
Lambs.
petrified.
Yeah. So what happened was her mom has kind of like curly hair, and at some point when she was young, the moth flew in her mom's hair, and she couldn't get it out. So I think she has this vision of her mother running around like swatting at her afro, trying to get it out of there. And so anytime we see those, she's terrified of those.
I understand that. I used to think it was a little. I mean, they're just moths, but they are a little different from. I always looked at them as being like kind of like butterflies, and that's what I always used to say to Allie when she was little was they're just like butterflies, but they're not. And she's like, no. And we would get them in the apartment we lived in where they would just hang out in the corners where the lights were, especially in the summertime. Yeah. So they would just be flapping all over, making noise, and it freaked her out. Like
Moths
legitimately
don't bother me.
scared her.
I also don't give a shit about worms. Like I'll fight any worm. I don't care.
And
I
I
don't
get
care how many
that too.
friends it brings either.
I totally get it. Like, and now that I understand where my fear came from and where it started, I can actually manage it a lot.
Do you have a fear of snakes?
No, I love snakes. I used to catch garter snakes and bring them to my mom all the time.
How the fuck are you afraid of worms and not afraid of a snake? It's a giant
snakes
worm.
are fucking sweet. In fact, I'm the
With
only person in this
fangs and
house who
venom.
wants to have a snake.
And a face.
Yeah, it's fine. They're cool.
They're
not
though.
going to go. They're not going to go.
Everything that
squish.
everyone is afraid of is more afraid when that thing is on steroids. Except for
Well, I'm
you,
not-
who is afraid of a gummy worm and not afraid of a giant snake.
It's true. It's true. It's totally true.
This is why
I don't-
you guys.
I know it's bizarre. Well, I was trying to think of the most crazy, weird ones that I have, but worms were definitely the best. I am better now, like I said, but I still, if you put one in front of my face, I am going to be paralyzed with fear, or I'm going to try to murder you. I don't know which. I can't predict that.
KOK was asking if there's stickers of the art yet. Not yet. We may do some for the MILFcast at some point. That's all. Snakes rule? I don't know if snakes rule.
Yeah, they do. They kind of do.
Oh, it was a cicada bug. And it was clicking.
Oh.
That's different. That's like a moth with predator abilities where it's like...
Oh, you don't like those? I don't mind them. I don't mind them at all. And they're
it's-
going to
I'm
all,
not- no.
they're all going to hatch this year too.
No, what I'm saying is Mrs. Kiterman was not a moth that went in her mom's hair. It was a cicada.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's even
That-
scarier
yeah.
because it was
That-
making noises.
Yeah, that's a little bit creepy.
Tapeworm says
Definitely.
snakes are cool unless you're on a plane. I added unless you're on a plane.
Oh, DJ's here. What's up, DJ?
DJ needs to be on this. Why did it have to be snakes? Why did it have to be snakes?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't mind snakes at all. I think they're cool. I would have a pet snake right now, but I'm the only one in my house that's for it. Everybody else is against it.
You
In
would have a
fairness-
pet snake because you have a pet cat and you don't really give understand what a pet is or care if it loves you back. These are two
do.
things you throw in a corner.
Do you really think that my cat doesn't love me back? Because I think everybody.
I don't think
that's
cats give a
ever
shit about
witnessed anything-
anyone except themselves. It's in their nature.
How can you not love a good sociopath? Come here, dummy.
Why? Because
Guys
they
talking shit.
can't love anything but themselves? No,
he
don't
loves
bring...
me.
Don't. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
he
Here we go.
loves me. He loves me.
Oh my
he
God.
loves me. See?
Dog person. Thank you.
Whoa. I'm a animal person. I love creatures.
Thank you, DJ. Thank
Just-
you, lovely.
Just not worms.
It's sitting
Cats?
on your shoulder right now, just like I own you. You realize you're
I
the
know.
pet right now.
I'm totally.
And you're laughing at it.
Yeah, I'm totally the pet. It's fine. He is the boss. Say hi, Mad Mart again.
Okay, I've got another
He's
fear.
purring.
I don't give a shit. I've got another fear.
Okay, what
Are
is
you
it?
trying to make me hear the purr? Like you're leaning in closer. I can't tell if you want to hear what I'm going to say or if you
No,
want me
I'm
to hear
just
the
trying
purr.
to give him space. This is not easy.
Yeah, you have to give him space. He owns a fucking house because you brought him
I
in
know.
there. See the pharaohs. They based everything off these things. These things we need to... Oh, Jesus Christ. He's like, check out my butthole. I don't care how many friends you have on Twitch. This cat doesn't even respect your exercise space. It's like literally like, just like, you're on my bed, stop moving.
Oh, lovely. I totally agree with you. I say that all the time. If you have a relationship with a cat, it's because you've earned it. Dogs, I love dogs because they're so affectionate and sweet, but it is a little bit, it's a little bit needy. What does the last comment say there, Kai?
She makes room for the cat in the bed. You have to.
Yes.
You have to
When
because
he-
they
when
own the
he-
bed when you buy them.
Yes, but in fairness, when Mike and I started dating and he started staying the night, I no longer let Mard sleep on that side of the bed. I gave it all to Mike.
No, Mard
That's how
chose
much I
not to
love
sleep
Mike.
in the bed anymore.
No, he
You-
did. He just sleeps
No,
on the
the
other
funny
side
thing
of
is
me.
like the greatest trick that Satan ever pulled was making you think he didn't exist. It's just like a cat. The greatest trick he ever pulled was making you think that was your decision, not the cat's.
I don't care.
Jesus Christ.
I love dogs. I love cats. I love all animals. I miss having a dog.
I do like DJ's dog, Thor. He's adorable.
Oh, yeah. I would not besmirch the good name of dogs, DJ. I enjoy them also.
Okay,
I just am preferable to cats because they're more independent and they do their own thing. They don't need me as much. I don't do as well.
then why have a pet? This is a whole nother mini cast.
It's totally, but this is where you went. So this is where I am.
Really? This is where I went? You just had a cat on your shoulders.
I was proving a point, or maybe I wasn't. I'm not responsible for the things I say or do. I am still your unsupervised co-host.
And I'm the one that has ADHD. Okay, so here's my other one. So, it's a bathroom fear. I have a bathroom fear. So, like, I was diagnosed at, like, around the age of 30 with Crohn's disease, which is an intestinal disease, autoimmune disease. We even have contingencies in place on the podcast because, like, there's just times when I may just have to go to the bathroom, like, right now. Like, I have no say in the matter sometimes. Even when I'm doing well, you just never know. Things can take a wonky turn. I work for an engineering firm. We deal in construction. And for years, the only bathroom option was porta potties, which is another thing that has scarred the shit out of me. It took one time at the age of 21 going home. It's not even the porta potties. Porta potties can be disgusting, but one time going home at the age of like 21 with no socks on, because after I used a porta potty, I realized there was no toilet paper in there. That just scarred me. So, and there's always the inevitable fear that somebody's going to back a crane or a truck up and just knock the thing on its side, like every movie you've ever seen that includes one of those things. Anyway, so anywhere we go, I'm always terrified of it. That's my biggest fear. And it's like, I also have like high standards for a bathroom. Like, I will use any bathroom, but it has to be somewhat clean and nice and private. I don't like to do it very public. Like, I tend to keep that very private in our family. And so, like, yeah. So any long road trip, any distant... I'm really cool because within, like, 7 counties now, all the traveling I've done for work and things, I know where every good bathroom is. But when I go to unexplored, uncharted territory, and you open the door and it's like a coin flip, that like, terrifies me. I've even been to one on the way to Vegas where I went in and they had, like, a seashell fucking sink. We went to, like, some, like, cowboy western... It's, like, 50 miles outside of Vegas, some cowboy western-looking gas station. They have animatronic cowboys out front in front of like a stagecoach. And you go in the bathroom and there's this giant mermaid seashell sink and a beautifully clean bathroom stall with a lock on the door so no one can come in. It's fantastic. But you would never expect it going in. You would think it would be this like podunk bathroom. And that's the chance you always take with these things.
Yeah. I totally support this fear or anxiety or mixture of both because it's completely legitimate. I could basically be shitbreak. I don't want to go anywhere that isn't my house. And I'm highly suspicious of any public restroom. I don't like using restroom at somebody else's house, which sometimes happens to me because I have tummy issues, not in the same capacity as you, Sir Kai, but I do have tummy issues. And then occasionally things go amok in an untimely place or untimely fashion. But I will do everything possible to not do either or. I can't tell you how many buildings and other places I've peed like on the side of the building rather than actually go into the bathroom.
Yes.
I'm a woman. It's easier to get away with that as a man, but as a woman, I will drop trowel and I will shake it or find a leaf, and I am way more comfortable with that than using a public restroom. A million times more so in any capacity. And every once in a while they're nice. Ironically, one of the nicest ones I also was in was a weird hole-in-the-wall bar when I was visiting, what's that damn city called? Dallas. I was in Dallas. And I was drinking with my aunt all day, and I was quite obliterated. We were bar hopping. But this one I went into, and they had an entire pyramid of TP, and it was chained up so nobody could steal the TP.
Really?
I thought it was magnificent. I was like, they don't fuck around in Texas. It's true. They don't steal that.
I went to a job site once in India, which was 90 miles from my house, mind you, at 7 a.m. So I've had 2 cups of coffee. I've driven 90 miles. It's time to use the restroom. There was 2 porta potties like a mile apart. I opened the one that was closest. A homeless person had gone in and gone to the bathroom on top of the lid. So I just had to like bite my tongue all day. So,
oh my God.
Yes.
Okay.
They couldn't figure out the lid, which I thought was odd.
I don't know.
It's just an up and down motion.
I think I'm starting to think about happy thoughts. Magical flowers. Ripley. Okay, I'm back. Hi.
Did you call my dog?
I did.
Let's see. Miss Ketterman said I said taken something to the grave. I don't know what that meant. I went too high.
You went too high. We have a middle-aged old man said, I work on stuff. I get anxiety when I start a new project that I will not be able to put it back together. Yeah, I can't put stuff together when I have the directions in front of me.
That's why you take pictures. When you take it apart, take pictures.
That's very clever. I'm not going to ever do that, but thank you for the good advice that I won't use.
Porta potties are the Ark of the Covenant of bathroom experiences. No one wants to open one. If you do, good chance it'll melt your face off. Thank you, DJ. That's fantastic.
That's great.
I judge people based on where their bathroom is located in their house. Like, I'm like, you didn't put thought into this? Like, do you ever do that shit? You're at a party, like, where's the restroom? And there's the living room and the kitchen where everyone's hanging out, and the bathroom's, like, right there. And you know they're hiding one in their bedroom. They're not letting anyone use the bedroom one.
I'm not letting any... Okay.
I don't blame them.
Yeah,
but I feel like if your other bathroom is in the middle of the party, you have to allow people to use the back bathroom.
Yeah, because I don't want to drop a deuce while other people are in the vicinity. Until last week, I don't think Mike was even aware that I actually made deuces. And that was during our podcast. So once again, Heather did a twosie during the podcast, and it was found out.
I've known about it for years.
Yeah, I think actually I may have done a twosie or peed on DJs at least once. Pretty much everybody's podcast I've been on, I've used the bathroom on. I'm fine with that.
Heather used to do our podcast while in the toilet and like tell me later. I have this joke that my buddy Paul has this thing called a chill gene. Like, nothing phases him. You'd be like, he's like, well, that sucks, we'll deal with it. And I don't have that. I'm like, really? We got to deal with that shit. My son, I want his chill gene for using the restroom. He's on what we call, he mentioned in the chat, a Bathrooms of America tour. Like, he'll literally just, like, create the need to poop anywhere we go because he hasn't experienced that bathroom yet. And I don't think it matters what it looks like inside. He's going to use it because he's, like, I think he's writing a book.
Wow. Actually, I feel like I would buy that book because then I would know where it was safe to go and where it wasn't.
We should have that. There should be an app that tells you every bathroom that is near you and
yes!
rate
Oh
it
my
with
God.
five stars if it's good.
Yelp,
right?
but for bathrooms.
Yeah. What do we call that? Chat, get on this shit. What do you call the Yelp for
Potty
bathrooms?
time. Potty
I
time.
ain't better than that.
Yeah, but I like potty time.
I'd call it help.
Help. Oh, shelp. I'd call it plop.
Jesus Christ. Do you have they have it for like fucking parking garages and shit. Is it absurd to think of having it for public restrooms? I think that would be a great idea.
Restroom radar.
I like that.
I'd sign up for that. Yep. Indeed, I would.
Doxy agrees. Here's the other thing I hate. So I've like gotten used to not using public restrooms and just like figure out how to get home. Never had an accident, thank God. But also, what is that shit where you get like a mile from home and your body just thinks you're home? And it's like, oh, it's time now? And you're like, no, I've still got 4 stop signs and a red light to go through.
The cone has weakened.
Yes.
I don't know. But
I need 8 minutes.
True. Yeah, I have no idea. Or this one's a terrible one for me. I will get somewhere. Like, remember when I text you, I was at the dentist and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't gone for like a week and I have to go.
So Heather
now.
got in this situation where like she literally had to go to the dentist in the middle of COVID, and it's one of those things they won't let multiple people in the building. So she's in the car lot or the parking lot outside. By the way, hating the woman in the car next to her, like a full diatribe on this Karen in the car next to her.
Yeah.
But she can't even just go in and use the restroom. It's like, no, not only do I have to hold it, I have to consider it was this weird time frame. So it's like 9 minutes before her appointment. So I can't go home and go. But they also won't let me in the building.
No.
And then you have that awkward situation of, oh, you let me in. Do you mind if I go take 15 minutes and use the restroom and then start my tea shit?
Listen, there's no way I would have gone in there and done that toozy. And I had no idea what it could be. It could have just been a simple action where I was in and out. Sometimes I'm like a 30 seconds pooer. I'm amazing. I can make that happen. I can make that shit happen. But sometimes,
Literally.
Yeah, sometimes it's unpleasant. Not very often, but when it is, it's bad. And I will not be associated as the girl who blew out the potty room at the dentist.
I'm actually,
now,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Now, there have been times where I've had no choice after that, like with super long runs. We do supplements because you have to start replenishing your body. So I actually have a shirt that says goo makes you poo because it works as a natural diuretic for me. And I have to shit my brains out after sometimes. And there's a Bigsby near one of the running places I run at, and I have done bad things in their bathroom a couple times and felt really terrible about it. So I just like to apologize to all the employees at Bigsby that I did that to, but I had no choice. It was either that or I was going to jail.
Lovely says there's something called the Mariko Aoki phenomenon. If she remembers correctly, it's a theory that explains why entering a store might make you want to poop.
Oh, yeah. I remember hearing about that.
Isn't that the DJ that does move? Oh, that's Steve A. Okay, never mind.
There is something that it's something with the lighting, I think is what it is. There's something with the fluorescent lighting that triggers like leaky rectum. I don't know, but it's bad. It's bad.
Who's the evil conglomerate that came up with that lighting?
Oh God, I'd so do that.
I'm convinced my wife is an alien because she claims that she does do twosies. We're respectful. We give each other space, but also she's the person. You remember the old like Superman where he would like close the phone booth and immediately open it, and he was like switch clothing from Kent to Superman like head to toe.
That's her.
She's like, I'm gonna use the restroom. Close the door, open it. I'm done. Yeah, I do normal like human things, and I'm like, I'm convinced she doesn't do it, and she might be an alien.
That's possible, unless she's just a fast toozy maker. I mean, like I said, I certainly am. I usually am. I've done it in record time. I have done it faster than men have peed before. So it's possible, but I don't think that that's a game you can play in the long run. And you guys have been together for a very long time. So I think by now you would have at least witnessed some form of chaos. I also appreciate that you guys that you guys are not in the bathroom with each other while you do that stuff, because
our house is cool. We're like,
that is bad.
I need to do some things, and like I'll go to the other end of the house and read something with headphones on, out of respect. This is like the one thing we don't share, and I'm fine with that.
We're the same way. We are the same way. I'm a pretty gross girl. Like, I don't mind sitting here having a whole conversation about my BMs, but I don't want my husband to ever hear it.
I don't know how this turned into this, because this was supposed to be a fear thing, but like I gotta bring this up since we're going down this goddamn path. And we actually, Heather put together a list of like topics for these mini episodes we're gonna do, and one of them is literally poop, and we haven't even gone there yet.
I was just gonna say that.
No, I know couples where like he's shitting and she's brushing her teeth next to him, and so are you gonna like drop little Brandon off and pick up milk? And he's like, just going to the bathroom. I don't get that. Mm-hmm. And that's not sort of like, I don't know, being emotionally connected. That's weird to me.
No, there's not that at all. I don't find that as a form of intimacy. I don't think that not having any boundaries of your own privacy is intimacy. I think that's just not having any boundaries.
Yeah, I don't even know that that's intimacy. It's actually weirder to me that they do that.
I've heard people using that word for it before, because I've always been curious about it. Because like I said, I am not someone who's, like, I am beautiful, lovely girl. I don't want you to imagine me doing gross things. I'm gross.
Because that's how I imagine you, that voice. Yes,
exactly. I don't have that kind of makeup, and even I'm like, no. There are some things you don't ever need to hear or see me do. That's not sexy for us at all. So yeah, I don't quite get it. But I mean, to each their own, I suppose. If it works for you, it works for you. I don't get it.
No, not to each their own. Like, you need to stop that. That is weird. This is a big comment. There was an experience from a YouTuber where he was at a party and had some food poisoning. Food poisoning. Is that where you...
Don't read it wrong on purpose.
It was at campground, and there were not a lot of bathrooms. Most of them were locked too, so he was jiggling handles trying to open a stall. He decided to crawl under a stall and realized it was a shower. He said, F it, use the shower. 2 months later, he starts working at the campground, and employees talk about this mystery dumper who pooped in the shower. They called him Captain Waffle Stomper.
That is amazing. I think it was Mike. I think this is a story about Mike.
Did this take place in Michigan?
What was the
outcome here? Nothing worse than in a public bathroom and you're blowing it up and someone else walks in the middle of the blow up. I don't go into a public bathroom and try to blow it up, but yes, in the midst of things happening
horrible.
And someone showing up, and then it's probably worse because you're trying not to blow it up and it just blows up and you're just like, Jesus, life hates me.
Okay, let me ask you this. B. Parker.
Oh, that's my statement. That's why my wife makes fun of me for saying, let me ask you this on our podcast.
I know, and I do it to you all the time, and you almost never catch on.
Okay.
So good job this time. One of the things that I find interesting is that, okay, so you still have the bathroom boundaries with Mrs. Kiterman. However, how about the children? Because for me, they're still from the time that they or we... So the time that they are Brosnan size now, which is like 6 foot tall, still just come to the bathroom while I'm doing my work and start talking to me. Hey, can you look at this paper for me after I'm done with it? Can you sign this? Hey, have you watched this anime show? Hey, mama, that sounds like it hurts. Are you doing okay? There's just like none with my dragons at all. I don't think that they would care if I left the door open. They would still come in there even
they're not coming in. I think we all have this like respectful boundary. I don't think
they don't, but they'll stand at the door and talk to me.
My wife has always said I lucked out that I married a girl that had Crohn's, because we're like we don't have to worry about it. Like, I don't want to have to start dating. Like, she won't ever die because she's a ginger, but I don't want to ever lose her, because then I would have to like start dating with Crohn's, and that's like horrible, a horrible thought to me. I'm cognizant with my kids. I don't want them hearing it or being around it either because I don't want them to judge me. But at the same time, like, I wouldn't judge them. And I'm 95% sure my daughter can hear what's going on 6 feet across the hallway from the bathroom in the hallway. But I think she's just a sweet girl, and that's not something she would judge me on. I don't think we judge any of us would judge each other on it, but we try to be respectful. How's that?
That's fair,
This whole thing took a weird turn tonight.
Well, we were talking about fears and anxieties, so it was doomed from the start.
It was.
And then if you're going to bring up anything with bathrooms, I mean, it's going to go towards shit.
It's so funny because it's such a natural thing.
Poop is funny.
It is.
It shouldn't be funny, but it's funny. Like I even my 4-year-old will sit there sometimes and just look at me, and I know that he know. I tell him in my head, and in my head I'm laughing, but I tell him, stop making jokes about poop. Stop talking about poop. But in my head I'm going, that was really great. Like poop never stops being funny from the time you're little.
Who decided to do dishes in the middle of our podcast? That's also what I'd like to know.
Yeah, I think Mike is doing dishes in the middle of it.
He understands how this works, right?
Yeah, I think it's pretty
All
weird.
right. Well, this might be a time to sign off then, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. Real quick, a thing my family does that infuriates me is standing over me when I sleep. It scares the crap out of me. I think they do it because I'm a sleepwalker and talker, and they try and see if I'm asleep so they can fuck with me. Yeah, your parents and my dad should get together and go bowling, dude.
Whoa. That's a little
A weird fear going to the gas station after dark creepy. There's been a lot of there's been like a lot of horror movies about that, so I understand that. Same with like ATM machines.
I think being a woman anyway, going
can
places
Mike,
where you have to
Mike
get
put
out of
a
your
pause
car.
on the dishwashing?
Mike, can you put a pause in the dishwasher for a moment? We're finishing up. Please, I'll finish it.
Almost done. He's like, I'm almost done. It's like 3 more glasses left. What the fuck?
Okay. But
Professional.
But yeah, so
he's gonna go vacuum now.
Well, that's how the show started, so I guess that's how it should end.
It's ending the way it started. Is that the fire alarm?
a complete mess. That's hi guys. So this is my house.
I got one more I'll throw out. So like goes back to childhood. I am not cool with the closet door or the bathroom door being slightly open, agape in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping.
Okay, I feel like that's kind of an OCD thing. I'm weird about that too. Like I can't have
it's
the
not
door
OCD.
kinda.
That's how the Pennywise monster is gonna get out and eat my soul.
Well, I can't have closet doors open for that reason, but I can't have even the bedroom door. It needs to be either all the way closed or all the way open. It can't
all the way
be...
open? I'm not sleeping with the door all the way open. How am I going to hear if someone comes in?
I have to have it open.
It's only allowed if you have children like your children's age.
Yes. Well,
age.
that's why. Once they get older, then that will become a non-issue. But as they're little, which he still is little, I keep the door open, and it has to be open all the way. Otherwise, I will get up out of bed. And I have a face hugger stuffed animal that I use as a weight to hold the door completely open.
Yes,
but I don't want to see.
Doors must be closed from the chat. Thank you. God damn it.
It's
also
creepy otherwise.
So my wife hung.
Also, Carol Ann in the closet too. That's another bad closet one.
So mirrors in the dark in the middle of the night. There's a mirror right, like if you, dear Lord in heaven. If you go to the restroom in our house, you're facing a mirror. When you get up, my wife put like one of those tall mirrors on our bathroom door that faces our bedroom. And I know like all the fellas are like, oh, cool. There's a mirror facing your bed. That's really cool until it's the middle of the night and you see a version of yourself, but you're not standing where it's reflecting and it's looking at you. Like, I'm not cool with that.
I can't
like
do that either
mirrors.
because I'm practically legally blind, so I can't see. Like I know that it's Mike sleeping next to me, but his face is blurry when I roll over and look at him. That's how bad my vision is. So if I have a mirror in the room and it's across the room, I'm just going to see that it's something moving, and I'm probably going to shoot it. There are no mirrors in my room for that reason. I've taken them out. So I agree with that one. That's definitely a creepy one.
Also,
And I don't always like them in the bathroom at night too. I'm not particularly fond of that. But
I've seen too many movies where you look in the mirror and you walk away and the reflection doesn't move. It just stares at you. But you don't know it because you're that person that's going to die too early in the movie. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm looking back.
No, I think that's just called being prepared.
I'm just ugly, so I don't want to look at myself. Say, Tapeworm, you're beautiful on the inside.
Yeah,
Also, you're
not.
terrifying to Heather with your name.
Yeah, okay, so that's another fear that I had, which
Tapeworm?
piggybacks onto the worm one. For like an entire year, I was in high school and I watched a Dateline NPC episode about how 1 in 4 people have tapeworms, and there was an entire episode just dedicated to tapeworms and all of this information about them. And I was convinced I had one, and we didn't go to the doctor in my family unless you were dying, so I never went to find out if I had a tapeworm, but I was convinced I did, and it kept me up for like I was an insomniac anyway, but it was just another reason for me not to sleep at night. I would stay up for hours and worry about having a tapeworm in my body.
You're like,
and then I watched that episode of House where they had like a 26-foot long tapeworm.
Oh, okay. I guarantee you, in the first 10 minutes, House diagnosed it as lupus.
It's not lupus. It's never lupus.
It's never lupus. But in the first 10 minutes, it's lupus. But yeah, there was that one time it was fucking lupus.
And one time it was lupus.
That's why. Yeah, that's amazing. Lovely Wolby is terrifying. Yeah, like you're like gaining weight. You're like, I have a tapeworm. This is terrifying, but it's also not eating your insides. Someone in the chat definitely has tapeworm with those stats. Okay. All right, I think we've done just about everything. Obviously, there's a lot of things. I have a bunch of anxieties. I don't let my feet hang out from the covers at the end of the bed, but that's just normal shit.
I think that's normal.
Yeah.
I sometimes still jump away from the bed at night because I don't want something to grab me underneath.
Run and jump? Yeah.
Run and jump.
Oh, yeah.
I still sometimes do that.
Olympic level stats at that, despite the fact I can't do anything at Olympic level other than that.
Yeah, I don't do so well when I can't see and it's in the dark at night. So
it's a good time to run and jump at something.
It's great, but I do it. So far, I haven't gotten hurt too bad.
Doxima, are these all Funko behind me? Yes, they are. There's like a whole bunch more. I won't even bother you guys.
You should bother them. Awesome.
I like toys.
Yes, toys.
I love it. Do you guys have any questions for us before we go? Other than that,
yeah.
This one took a weird turn. This wasn't as fluid as the others.
That's because we started off all
in
wonky.
hell.
Yeah, but it's okay.
We started off in hell.
That's okay.
Yes.
If there is one, that's where I'll probably be going anyway.
I think at some point we're going. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
I should just get acquainted with it. It's fine.
Chaos.
Chaos theory.
This is a weird ass one. Every now and then we have just a MILFcast that goes south. Yeah. So this is my new toy room. I think at some point we're gonna like explore it a little bit. We have a bunch of ideas for things we're gonna talk about. Heather wants to talk about anime. Oh, but you took him out of the box. I've got him right there.
I take all of mine out of the box. I have one Ripley that I have in the box, and that's it.
That's why
special edition.
That's actually why I like Funkos, because you can take them out of the box and put them in, and they don't lose their value.
Yeah, I throw the boxes out.
Who's
I
that?
don't know what they are. I don't care. This is Geralt of Rivia.
I don't care.
He is so wonderful. We saw his naked bum a couple episodes ago. And maybe a boob or side boob.
I have a whole baby Yoda shelf, which is like, I'm super in love with. Let me see if I can show it to you guys.
DJ said he is going to do his Skeletor impression for me. Oh, yes.
There's the baby Yodas. I love the baby
Yodas.
Yodas.
Egypt, but the restrooms are... Yes, I do little... Oh, my goodness. Polnareff is my favorite character from JoJo, too. I love...
Two-man anime conversation, which is as bad as a podcast about poop.
So, would you guys like to hear some anime talk at some point? Because I have a few friends. Not many, but I have a few friends. And I think some of them like anime. They might like to hear some things.
I'll talk to you about anime, because I that was one we threw out for you, too, and I like that, because I don't watch a ton of it, like a ton of it.
I've always liked it, but this was the first... No. The last, 2 years is the first while that I've like really started getting into it, like really watching all the shows that I've always wanted to watch. I've been on quite a journey for the last year, and I'm really, really enjoying it. One Punch Man, have no idea. I haven't heard anything about season 3, but that show is also fantastic. And that's one I recommend to people that are not big anime people.
Has One Punch Man ever had to hit someone twice?
No. And that is one of the coolest things. That's like the bane of his existence.
I like it.
He cannot find a worthy adversary. He gets super excited every time he thinks he finds someone that is going to be able to destroy him, but he cannot. And so he just keeps getting disappointed. And it's really, really awesome. It's quite funny too, but it's a totally sweet take on the whole entire like superhero and an anime world. It's different. I like it a lot. Okay.
The show is interesting how they make it interesting when he only has to hit you once.
Yes.
It's a good point.
It should not be.
They kind of lead up front. It's like Unbreakable.
And the supporting cast too. They're pretty.
What's the supporting cast? Like 3 Hitman and.
No, there's his like Padawan learner, and he's worked so hard to get better and trains. When One Punch Man doesn't have to do anything, he literally is just like, yeah, I hang out and play video games, and I'll just.
See, because that has a put. Oh God. Okay, I don't want to go down a bunch of different roads. We'll save it for another show. But that's like where you should save it. It is good if they could do a show like that where it stays interesting, because that's where you're getting like Superman territory. He's like so infallible that it becomes like not interesting. So if the story surrounding the fact that this guy can fuck somebody up with one punch is interesting, then it's good.
Exactly. Because it sounds like it shouldn't, and yet it is.
All right, guys. I think that brings us to the end of the show. We're going to be back Wednesday.
Yes.
We're going to back next Sunday. We're going to be back next Sunday. We're going to live tweet. God damn. We're going to live Twitch the Oscars. Live stream the Oscars.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's true. And which is going to be super fun because I've watched like 3 of the movies that are nominated for anything.
Yes. So Heather can just make guesses.
I can make guesses. Mostly I can just look at what everyone's wearing because I love it.
And the cool thing is we'll be able to raid our buddy Timbot stream for the first time because he starts a little later than us. But who are we going to raid tonight?
I was just going to bring that up.
Are you going to send it to another League of Legends or something bad?
You know,
this is Heather not knowing her one part of the show again, by the way. She is not prepared.
Last time it was indeed not my fault. The Twitch stream went laggy and it did not send everybody as it was supposed to.
Yeah.
And that was a super bummer.
Maybe that was a hangover from this show. That's why it was all screwy at the beginning, at the top.
Yes. All right. So no channels we follow are. So hold on. You guys are going to go to.
Hang on while we do stuff, guys. You know, the kind of Twitch you're looking for. Nobody wants things in real time.
Well, I always send it to someone if one of our friends are on, but they're not. So I'm going to send you guys to another podcast. And you are going. Are you ready?
Tell them MILFcast sent you. If you do not follow us, please follow us. When we get to 50 followers, we get to do some more fun stuff on here. Thank you guys for everybody that tuned in. We love you tons. And
yeah,
see you
thanks
Wednesday.
For coming. And thank you for tolerating our disasters tonight.
Poop talk and disasters.
Poop talk and disasters.
The show went to shit and then we talked about it. So thank you guys. Appreciate that. All right, send them off, man.
All right, bye guys. We love you. And it says they're sending them in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I like that the last word in the chat too was wiener. Raid now.
Because you put it there.
There we go. I think they're gone. Did that work?